Welcome, everyone, to another edition of AEW Unrestricted. Settle the fuck down.
God damn it.
What the hell?
It's all right. Hey, Tony, what's up?
Hey, Tony Schiavone, Aubrey Edwards.
Hello.
And we are joined by Santana and Ortiz.
Hey.
Yo.
What up, guys?
What's up, boys?
Without a doubt, one of the greatest tag teams in all of pro wrestling.
Oh, stop.
No,
Yes.
real.
Yes,
real.
100%.
Yeah, and two of the good guys. Hey, guys, thanks for being with us. Your Fight for the Fallen match, man. Tremendous.
Thank you, man.
Feel good about that one?
Yeah. It was definitely a good one. It was one that we put a lot into, putting together, and what more can you say? Working with those guys it was a pleasure, and we had great chemistry. And unfortunately, things happen, and you got to do what you got to do and roll with the punches. Right. And just glad, everything is good, and let's keep it going.
Yeah, it was. You had to kind of improvise after the injury a little bit, didn't you?
Yeah.
As professionals do.
Well, you know what? That's kind of the art of the business, isn't
Yeah.
it? To have to when things go wrong, you got to improvise.
I had no idea what was going on. I just heard someone yelling "fuck" a million times, and I was like, I guess something's wrong.
Who was yelling "fuck" a million times? Paul?
Cash.
Cash.
No, I'm sure Cash was.
Cash was. Paul was like, no, blood.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was wild.
It was a gnarly situation because I was on the top rope with Dax, and I look over, and all I see is like it looked like a water fountain. You know, when you hold a water fountain, blood just came shooting out of Cash's arm, and he just grabbed it and ran straight to the doctor.
Which is smart.
And we were freaking out a little bit,
Smart.
but we were kind of like, all right, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? And we got to it, and we did the best we could with the situation.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And at that point, we just wanted to end the match, and obviously we didn't know how badly injured he was.
I mean, I know there's like
it
a
was
blood
scary.
feud and whatnot, but like peeking behind the curtain, like we're all obviously worried about Cash in this moment, right?
Of course.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. We're always taught to, for me, day one of pro wrestling, you protect your opponent and you protect yourself.
Absolutely.
So, it was one of those things where, I look back at it and I was like, damn, like what could I have done to avoid that situation? What could I have done to maybe, help or whatever? And it was one of those situations. It was a freak accident, and thankfully he was good, and let's just keep it going.
And we're gonna run it back. So
We'll
get another chance.
It's an unfortunate situation, but I mean, like anything in wrestling, like you can turn anything into an angle, right?
Yep.
And the fact that it just kind of builds more, and both of you guys are considered some of the greatest tag teams in wrestling. So the fact that we get to watch more of you do wrestling is, I benefit greatly personally. So I'm very excited.
Definitely a cup half full rather than looking at it at half
100%. 100%.
So, how did you first hear about AEW, and how did you first get approached by coming in here?
It's a funny story. So I was in the movie theater. I forgot what movie I was watching, and I got a text on my phone. This was after the first Jericho cruise.
Hold up. You're looking at your phone in a movie theater?
No, I had gotten a text
While he was in the movie.
While you were in the
movie.
I just wanted to clarify.
Only because.
I just wanted to clarify that you're not an asshole.
So let's
for
check
the
it.
people at home listening.
Okay.
You see the
I'm helping you.
No, listen. So
You know I love you.
I took my phone out of my pocket and I put it in the cup holder, and it fucking lit up. All right? I'm gonna check my phone. All right, I'm just saying.
Okay.
And I got a text, and
Trap
it was
sprung.
the text was from Cody, and he was just like, "Yo, when are your deals up?" And at that point, we had maybe like a few months left, and he was like, "All right, so when it's up, this is the deal. It's real." And this was before the company was even announced.
So this is 2018.
Yes, yeah.
There's only rumblings, maybe,
Yeah.
on the internet.
Yeah,
about
because
it.
you guys are still at Impact at that point.
Yep.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, so that there was that, and I was like, okay, I guess the ball is rolling, and let's go, And then because on the first Jericho cruise was the first time that we got to work with the Bucks and stuff, and we always like to say that was pretty much our job interview for getting here, and it was a great match, and we had a good time, and those guys were really cool. So and Cody hit us up, and once our deal was over, we knew what was up, and then it was a wild time.
Pretty much
just a wild time.
The coolest job interview you could possibly have.
Yeah.
Probably wrestling on a damn cruise. Jesus Christ.
It's awesome. I love it. I can't wait to do it again.
So you guys came out with the President's Mask set, All Out, Attack the Bucks. Whose idea was that?
So it was pretty much a joint idea between us and the Bucks, and we pretty much put it together. And I had the idea for the President's Mask because I think we were on the road doing some indies, and we were going through a Patrick Swayze kick, and we were watching Point Break in the room, and we were like, there it is. That's what we're gonna do. You know, when this little hand on the clock hits this, it's time to rock and roll.
Roadhouse, and then Point Break. We watched that loop, and we were like, oh yeah, Patrick Swayze all day.
Patrick Swayze is
The man.
a god. Yeah. All right, he's a man.
He's over with us 100%.
Well, duh, clearly.
But that's where we got the inspiration for the President's Mask. Yeah. Also, Homicide, one of our mentors, he used to do kind of President Mask, and he had something similar. So there was definitely inspiration from other places. And then we actually asked him about it, and he was like, yeah, go for it, rock and roll. But yeah, there was a little bit of that influence as well.
It was a huge pop when you were unmasked. Did you expect it to be that huge?
Man,
No, so right before we go out, we were under the stage, the ramp.
The ramp, yeah.
So they had us like come out, and they gave us a cue and go. So right before we went out, I looked at him and I was like, "We're not going to get any
crickets."
It's gonna be crickets.
He looks
Watch.
back at me, so he's in front of me. We're going. It's dark. We're going, and he looks back. He goes, "Crickets." I was like, way to go, asshole.
Yeah.
Thanks.
But we got a completely different reaction than that. We had a really good reaction. It was, man, that's what we chase as performers, as wrestlers, is that ovation that we got that night.
Right.
And it was insane. It was just like, oh my God, this is real. It was probably one of our coolest moments that I could think of.
And just like for us, it was just a huge validation for the work that we have put in for all those years and just the sacrifice. Everything just culminated perfectly to that moment, and that'll be with me forever.
Yeah.
You know, that moment will definitely be with me forever.
I mean, this is the fourth show of a brand new company.
Yeah.
If you're coming out, getting a huge pop, like it's
Insane.
because people already know your names.
Insane.
Yeah, exactly.
People already know who you are. It's incredible.
And then when you're in it too, when you're on that grind, you're not thinking of any of that. You're working.
No.
You're just doing your thing. You're hustling. You're wrestling. You're you know, for us, you know, we always said we're not in this chasing money. We're in this chasing greatness. You know what I mean? And that was the biggest thing for us. So when we had that reaction, it was like, oh yeah,
we did it.
Yeah.
fucking greatness. You know?
I'm into chasing money, by the way.
Oh, that,
You'll-
Tony, I already know.
He is.
That's right.
Now I'm chasing money. I'm just saying.
You got to taste. You got to keep going.
You'll be at my age one day and just chasing the money before the time runs out, man.
So we got the President's Masks, All Out, big ovation, lead into first episode of Dynamite. You guys were in the main event with Jericho. When did the talks of the Inner Circle kind of start? Like, did you guys come into the company knowing that was going to be a thing?
Yeah. I mean, that was one of the deciding factors for us actually coming into the company because right before we went in, we had offers with to go to WWE or AEW. So we were on the fence.
Congrats.
Thank you. We were on the fence initially, but one of the many other factors, but one of the swaying decisions for us was Chris specifically wanted us to be a part of the Inner Circle. So we were like, wow, man, that's like, and he's a huge, not to get so long-winded about it, but a part of our bonding experience, like when we started to become a tag team, we both read Jericho's first book, Lion's Tale. So we were like, this is the blueprint to be a wrestler. This is it right here. He was a journeyman. He wrestled everywhere. This is what we want to do. You know what I mean? Watching guys like him, Dean, Eddie, and just we wanted to be a true journeyman. And we bonded over his first book. So fast forward to us, Cody's just like, yeah, Chris asked for you by name. He wants you to be in his stable. And we were like, what? Like, what's going on right now? Right.
What world is this?
Yeah, exactly.
It was just one of those like real weird full circle moments where we were like, man, like we bonded over his first book, and now we're a part of his journey and a part of his his
legacy.
We'll
be tied in with his career and his legacy.
And it was just
cool.
it was just crazy when you look at it. Like, you know, we grew up watching him and all these guys, and this whole like experience the past 2 years has been insane.
Yeah.
Like it's been insane, you know, just with everything, you know, that's gone on personally in my life, with everything professionally, and, you know, the whole pandemic. It's just been crazy, insane.
But to answer your question long-windedly, yes, we knew about the Inner Circle.
Bringing it back.
And it was awesome. And we just heard about this group that he wanted, and we heard Sammy was going to be in it. And we didn't hear about Jake until maybe the week of.
The day of.
Yeah,
actually.
the day of. We heard about Jake.
Yeah, I saw him walking around
Yeah.
in DC. I was like, oh, this is interesting.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Okay.
But a welcome addition. He's the man. We're like, we all get along, and we definitely, obviously, over the 2 years have developed a legitimate friendship, and it's awesome. I love working with those guys.
In October, we'll start our third year of AEW, and you guys have been in memorable matches, big-time matches for this company.
Yep.
Well, Stadium Stampede obviously comes to mind.
One and two.
And Blood and Guts.
Oh.
But the street fight stands out, I think, among all of them. And one of the things I remember after the street fight was over and we were all like, holy shit, this is one of the greatest things we've ever seen. I remember going down and checking on everybody to see if everybody's okay, because it looked like you guys had killed each other. And I remember walking out and Tony was going, yeah.
Yeah.
Like Tony
it was
does.
awesome. It was an emotion. Yeah. It was wild.
I know you guys were banged up. I get. You know, I know you were banged up,
Yeah.
but there had to be a good feeling of accomplishment after that match, which got 5 stars.
Yeah.
By the way.
Yeah, we knew when it was said and done, we knew it was something special, just
Right.
because of Tony's reaction.
Yes.
Him coming out, he was so ecstatic.
Right.
Everybody else was looking at us and they were like, you don't understand what just happened.
Right.
And, you know, we're still coming down off the match and we're
Right.
in the zone. So it didn't really fully register. But then luckily the truck got us we went back and watched. You know, pretty much they had it right away. And we
Right.
sat down and watched it. We were lucky enough to watch it right after it was done, and we were like, oh wow.
Yeah.
You know, and we were anticipating once it aired, and then all the validation that we got from it once it aired, it was insane. It was awesome. Definitely one of our crowning achievements.
Yeah.
It was all
Sort of
pretty.
comedy's crowning achievements.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it really is.
And it's crazy because when we were putting the match together and talking with best friends and stuff, like it's
I know where this is going.
I remember we're in the locker room and we're putting, you know, some ideas together, and I stop in the middle of us talking and I go, guys, I don't think
Trent and Chuck.
Yeah, and I go, guys, this has to be real. I'm coming at you guys like,
I'm going to kill you, motherfucker.
like I'm coming at you like full force.
But
like,
he was like deadpan, dead serious.
I looked at them in their
like
face
scary,
and I was
like, oh God, he means it. I might die
I'm gonna punch
tonight.
you, you're gonna punch me, and we're gonna fucking go at it.
Yeah.
You
Right.
know what I mean? And I think that's what this match needed. And thankfully, at first it was so funny seeing their reactions. They're like, so we're gonna have to fucking fight.
They had like okay.
Yeah, because I
imagine
was
Chuck
like
just
real, like,
oh,
I was
shit.
already in the zone. I was getting myself hyped up and just whatever. And I was like, we're going to fucking go at it.
Right.
Like, we're going to go.
Right.
You know what I mean? Whatever happens, happens. We'll say sorry later. But
Right.
let's get it. You know what I mean? And, it was just a funny
I
moment.
wish I could have had a video of their faces. It was pretty good. Like all
And they're
the
such
color
nice
went from
guys
this
too, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I
They
think
didn't deserve that.
I think my favorite part of hearing you say all of that is like the first thing I picture in my head is the trunk opening and Orange Cassidy popping out.
the best.
I'm like, or like even then, like, oh my God, what was it? It was North Carolina, I think, the first time Bojangles, where like you open the door in the bathroom and Orange Cassidy's
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
There's just so many like there's this hard hitting moment,
Yeah.
and someone's gonna fucking die because Santana's gonna kill him, and then Orange Cassidy.
Yeah, and then we had another one where I forgot where it was.
Under the ring.
Yeah, where we go under the
Ladder.
ring, the ladder,
Oh
and
my
he's
God.
laying on the ladder. And we try to keep it up. We were like, we have to keep this gag up. Like where
Right.
everywhere we go to do something or whatever, and Orange Cassidy is there,
Just
For
there, just hanging out.
Yeah, just the fuck was he doing?
Why didn't we have him in Stadium Stampede?
Yeah, that would have been great.
He probably would have been like, I'm not staying up till 5 a.m. What the
This
fuck
is
are you
true.
doing?
You're smart.
You're a smart man. Smart man.
You guys will find out the longer we go, the more she books shit. Okay. And we're talking to Santana Ortiz. We're going to talk about when they first started teaming. When we continue on Unrestricted.
I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you. This is AEW Unrestricted. Aubrey and Tony here with the wonderful and talented Santana and Ortiz. We're talking a little bit about memorable matches at AEW, joining AEW, just all these amazing moments and whatnot. There's plenty more than we could fit in this whole episode, but I want to talk a little bit about kind of how we came to this moment, because you guys have been tagging together since 2011.
Yep.
October, so almost 10 years.
Yep.
We were talking about before we started recording, and you guys started as... I always forget the order, but it's basically entertain your fucking balls off.
Hell yeah. EYFBO.
EYFBO. That was our initial tag, team name. We were a parody of like LMFAO. Because
I get it now.
That was the team.
Because the hair.
It was all his shitty idea.
Yeah. I mean, hey, it worked to a certain extent, right?
I will bury it to this day.
But like if it had worked out, like it would have been your idea.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
That's exactly
no.
what it would have been.
I got you.
But yeah, that's because we didn't know what to do in the very beginning. We just wanted to wrestle. And I'm just naturally, I'm a clown. I've always been in my family and stuff like that. And I'm very cheesy. I I have a very cheesy sense of humor. So I was all about being the loud, yeah, exactly.
Pops me every time.
So, and our whole dynamic was I was more of the comical one. He was more straight-laced, but yet we worked in a way. And we kind of found our niche doing that. But yeah. We like I stated earlier, we started with Jericho's book. We started working with each other. We both went to wrestling school separately, and then we met at a show. And he was just looking for a job at the time. He had just came back from Puerto Rico. I was working as a loss prevention specialist, right? LPS.
Exciting.
Yeah, loss prevention specialist.
What a title.
Yeah.
Loss prevention
at Borders
specialist.
Books.
Borders Books.
Wow.
While paying my way through wrestling school. That's
Yeah.
what I was doing. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So we both worked at Borders Bookstore, and all we did was talk wrestling.
We would talk wrestling during our whole entire shift, and we would get in trouble with our managers because we would be on the mic,
Right.
talking to each other about yo, we have to watch this match later on.
Oh,
or
like
something.
different parts of the store.
Oh, yeah. And all we're doing is talking about wrestling because at that time we were just completely engulfed in it. That's all we wanted to do 24/7. And this is before we had kids and everything, so wrestling was everything to us. So yeah, we took that and then we started doing shows, and you could talk about our first match.
Yeah, I had started training with these guys in the Bronx. It was a tag team from back in the day called All Money Is Legal. Shout out to those dudes. Yeah, I was training with them, and one day they told me, "Yo, we really like your stuff, and what you could do you have a partner? Try and see if we could have a match or whatever." And I go, "Actually, I do."
Oh.
And this was before we
This
even
guy I
spoke.
know from the bookstore.
Yeah.
This guy from
How weird, right? But so yeah, and then I was like, yeah, let's do it. So then I went home, and right away I'm calling this guy, right? And I must have called him maybe like 27 times.
I was sleeping.
He was asleep, right?
I was sleeping.
And I'm like,
Middle of the
Okay.
day.
Oh, yeah. I was gonna ask, what time of day was it?
it wasn't even that late.
Yeah, it wasn't
first
that
of
late.
all.
I
It
was-
was maybe like 7 p.m. But I was
going through a hard time at that point in time.
I was like,
was doing a lot of
honestly,
sleeping.
I was like, if this motherfucker does not answer the phone, we're gonna have a problem. And so I ended up calling one of our other mutual friends, and I was like, yo, you need to either go to his house, bang on his door, or try to get him on the phone, call his dad, do something, just get him on the phone. And so yeah, our boy ended up getting in contact with him and pretty much cursed him out.
Yep, I got death threats.
Yeah,
And then
it was like, yeah, call this guy.
I called him, and then, he booked a match for the very next day. I was completely out of shape. I was miserable.
7 months pregnant.
Yeah.
All 700 pounds. of him.
I was pretty big. There was again, I was going through a rough time at that point in time. But that kind of brought me out of it. That brought me out of my funk, like doing that match. And, like with anything, it took time for us to kind of come into our own and get each other's rhythm. But we knew we had something at that point. Like, it worked, it clicked. We had great chemistry with the guys we worked, and the rest is history. Here we are now.
Yeah, the New York indie wrestling scene seems to be very tight-knit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
talk about that a
100%.
little
Very,
bit. Yeah.
very.
Yeah, especially like with those guys, that the first team that we wrestled, they were a part of a very like special class of wrestlers during that time in New York, where New York at a certain point in time was producing some of the best wrestlers like on the scene. You know, the Amazing Red, the Low Key, the Homicide, the Hit Squad, All Money's Legal, SATs, like just the list went on and on and on. And, you know, those were all guys that we studied, you know, and we were like, we want to be the next guys, you know what I mean? So we always kept that in our mind, and we were like, we got to bust our ass. And those dudes had to bust their ass even harder, you know what I mean? Especially during the time that they came up in the early 2000s. It was a rough time.
Very rough.
They really had to grind it out, and you know, a lot of them became successful, and we were like, yo, that's the path. That's what we want to do, and be known as the next generation of New York City guys that came up and did something for themselves.
Whatever happened to Amazing Red? I mean,
oh man,
I mean,
He's still active, kind of.
He's
Semi-active.
He was up in Seattle. He did a match with Ospreay. It was amazing.
Yeah.
So good.
So
like-
New Japan, when they came and they were doing shows in the States, like recently, like right before the pandemic,
Right.
Ospreay, he came back to wrestle Will Ospreay in a one-on-one match, and it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
You know, it was just awesome. Amazing Red is still semi-active. He retired for a little while, but he's still kind of wrestling. He just has a bunch of nagging injuries, and
I got it.
Yeah, but
I get that.
he's still rocking and rolling. And
else,
he
man.
did he did kind of a small tour with New Japan when they were in the States. But
Yeah, that's where I saw him.
One of the things I love about Red is that he could take as long as a break as he wants and come back and shut it down. Like he's one of those guys, you know what I mean? And somehow come back better than when he, you know. Yeah. So he's a man.
Yeah, he runs a school, House of Glory. We used to wrestle there a lot in New York. And I think that's a testament to why he stays in such a good shape and he can still go. Because I've trained with him a couple of times. We both have. And he gets in the ring with you. He's just a hands-on trainer. And he's not going to tell you to do something he wouldn't do himself. And he'll go in and do the drills with you. And that's why he can still go the way he can go. But, yeah.
So you talk a little bit about New York indie wrestling, kind of the scene and the culture. One of the things we saw a lot with when we were asking for questions from people is just the importance that you guys bring with the Puerto Rican culture and how important that is, and how so many people appreciate what it is you guys are doing. Like, how important was that to you coming to AEW?
It was such a huge deal. I've always grown up very, you know, proud, very into my culture, and I was always taught that from very young from my family and my grandparents. I've been going to Puerto Rico every year since I was 4 years old. And that was something very important to me. And you know, like growing up, we didn't have a lot of people that we could look up to that looked like us. And I always said that, you know, especially coming from where we come from, like we want to be those guys that people could look at, like a lot of kids, you know, coming from the hood, they look at and they're like, yo, if they were able to do it, if they were able to make something of themselves coming from the gutter, from nothing, why can't we? You know what I mean? And even more being a proud Boricua, man, like that to me, like I just love my culture, man. Like I'm so in love with everything about it, the food, the music, the unity, the family, just everything, man. And I always wanted to represent that, you know, and I always felt that I didn't want to just get into wrestling and just be a character. You know what I mean? Like, I want to have purpose for something that I do. I want people to look at us and be like, yo, these guys are fucking legit. You know what I mean? And they represent, and they love what they do, and they love where they come from. And and again, it was just that thing where we didn't have a lot of heroes that looked like us. You know what I mean? I think the closest thing we had growing up was Savio Vega, and you know, he was an animal. He was the man, you know, like one of the best wrestlers ever. And like we wanted to be guys that took it to the next level, you know, and just really put it on the map.
Yeah, I think that's a testament to just growing up in New York. Just New York, as you know, if you meet a New Yorker, they're proud to be a New Yorker. And I think that's just the culture of this city, because it's such a melting pot. But then, you go to a certain neighborhood and it's just like you being in another country or you being somewhere else, because certain neighborhoods are completely run by like a culture or something like that. But then it's still mixed and very diverse. But everybody walks around and everybody's like proud of where they came from, but they're also proud to be a New Yorker. And I think growing up in a city like that, you can't help it. That's who we are. We're told to be proud. We're told to like wear it on our sleeve, literally. And yeah. And we translated it over into wrestling because it was very easy to do, because it's it wasn't fake.
For me, honestly, like my hero and my favorite wrestler growing up always was Bret Hart. And to me, Bret Hart, I was never into like the over-the-top characters like Hogan and Warrior and all these guys.
Right.
The reason why I resonated so much with Bret Hart was because he was him 24/7. He represented his family. He spoke a lot about his family, spoke a lot about his values, a lot. Like, so I was like, that's it right there. Sure. I don't want to be a character. I want to make it to where I'm going to make it being me.
Right.
And that's who Santana is. The Santana you see on TV is an extension of me,
Right. The Santana and the Ortiz that we hear on social media are very positive and inspiring.
Yeah.
So you've taken that, you've taken your culture, you've taken the proudness of your heritage, and you've been able to push that message out. That's got to be very important to you guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. Which is why we initially came up with the name Proud and Powerful.
Right.
That was basically the whole message behind it. But yeah, I mean, that's just like a motto, and that's what it is. Like, we did a road tour, a promo kind of where we were basically explaining that, and those were like real words that were coming out of us, and we just believe that. Just be proud of who you are, whatever it is, whatever your background is, whatever it is, just be proud, and being proud, that makes you powerful, because you just don't care. It's like, this is who I am. Wear your heart on your sleeve and just live it every day. Right. F what everyone else thinks.
Yeah, and it's not easy in social media to weed through the negativity.
Yeah, That's another thing. That's another thing. There's so much negativity on social media.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So much.
If there was more people sharing positivity and just putting out positive shit, then it'd be a much better place. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean?
The world would be a much better place.
Oh boy.
Let's find the cesspool of Twitter.
Cesspool.
Amen, buddy.
Cesspool's a nice word for it.
But yeah, a lot of the stuff that I post on online and stuff is also things that help me get through the day.
Another day.
Another day. I've always been one to always be open about things that I struggle with, and as far as anxiety and depression and things like that. So I remember as a kid always feeling alone with all that stuff, and I vowed, getting into this and having a platform, that I never want someone to feel like that. I never want someone to feel alone with any of their issues. Like, we're who we are. You see us on TV, you see it, but we're regular people just like you, and I think that's the best thing, when you're able to see someone on a certain stage and you could relate. I think we connect even more with people, being that way.
Yeah, it gives people hope that they can manage their anxiety and be like, oh, this person suffers from anxiety and depression, but it's still been able to be successful in life. They didn't let them get pigeonholed by that. Yeah.
We're going to go to fan Q&A here in a minute, but one quick story, and fans have always asked me, my family have always asked, how do you keep a straight face when you're doing interviews? And I say, you just kind of, you do it. But the closest I ever came to breaking up ever was because of this man right here. Really, because we're doing this interview and I keep looking and he's staring at me and he's not blinking.
Yeah, I remember the way you're talking about it.
And I kept going, what the fuck? And I almost went, stop it. Put the mic down and screamed at you.
I wish you would have.
You just didn't let go of me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right by the balls, bro. He had you.
Right by the balls.
He had you.
Yeah, it
he
was
had
right
you.
in my face. Okay, fan Q&A is coming up next on AEW Unrestricted.
AEW Unrestricted, Aubrey, Toni, Santana, Ortiz. We're here, we're talking about tag team wrestling, we're talking about positive shit, we're talking about inspirational shit, we're talking about
Positive shit.
Positive shit, motherfuckers.
Just all shit.
Just all shit.
Just all
Positive, negative, doesn't matter. It's all shit. Speaking of shit, that's a bad segue. We got fan questions.
All right.
First one, actually, really good question, from Carlos Navarro on Twitter. I would love to ask, how do you feel your wrestling style has changed from EYFBO to LAX to Proud and Powerful?
I would say very early on, obviously with anything, we were just trying to throw things to the wall and see what would stick. So we definitely, over the years, have condensed our sequences, the way we move. Like our niche in tag team wrestling is like moving as one unit. So we do a lot of combinations to go into things and a lot of steps and stuff like that. Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's really our bread and butter when we're really rocking and rolling. But over the years, we've noticed and we get better reactions, and it's also better for the match and pacing to condense some of it. Because if you do too much like ba 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 ba, then it's gonna be all jumbled up. You kind of have to break it up. So the way I look at it is like kind of like putting together a song or a beat. You need a good tempo to a match, and then you kind of bring it up. And you know what I mean? Ideally, you want to end the match at the highest note. But that came with overtime. At the very beginning, we were just like watching stuff from Japan and Mexico and be like, "Ooh,
that's
let's
cool."
do this." Yeah, exactly. That's cool. Let's do it in the match. And we would do like 50 moves in a match. And then some of it would work, and then we'll go back now and watch the matches, and then we would cringe at some of the things. But definitely we were more inspired with like Lucha in Japan versus when we started going to LAX and we got to TV, we were like, okay, we need to be not characters, but we need to learn how to tell a story differently. So we were more like brawlers and brutes, and we really got I don't want to say pigeonholed, but we really got into the groove where we would do matches like the parking lot match. And I think that's a testament to why the parking lot match came out so good.
Right.
Because in Impact, we had to do it a lot as LAX. We were always doing these like blood feud blow-offs, all these huge gimmick matches. So we really got to cut our teeth, and it all added up to the parking lot match, and we were very comfortable in doing so. And then here, we've tried to like go back to our roots and do more lucha stuff, and mix. We're
just mix it all up.
Yeah, we're trying to mix it all up together, and we're still, finding ourselves. I feel like we're still growing as performers, and we're still learning on how to do stuff, because we pride ourselves in being like hybrid wrestlers, being able to wrestle. You want us to brawl, we can brawl. You want us to do a very technical match, we can do it. You want us to do a hardcore match, let's rock and roll. And that I would say very early on, though, it was very like high flying, and that's why he has bad knees and he would get destroyed. Like he's toned down a lot. He used to do Phoenix splashes, shooting star press, 450s. Yeah, he could do that all. But
now I don't need to.
Yeah.
Smarter, not harder.
Well, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But one day you'll get a Phoenix splash out of me.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But we toned down the high flying. We changed up our style, and I feel like we've come into our own. And at first we were more imitating what we were seeing rather than creating something new.
Yeah.
Dominic Lalacata. This is number 4 down on your list. Okay.
Oh, hey.
What are your biggest influences when cutting promos? You're one of my favorites, says Dominic, which is saying a lot when you consider all the great talkers in AEW.
For me personally, I always just try to speak from the heart and speak from different experiences that I've been through in my life, and just that's where I find my passion.
Yeah.
And I just, in general, I'm a very passionate person about anything that I'm into. So when, especially like recently when we've been doing the stuff with FTR, like a lot of that is real life.
Yeah, the press conference.
Yeah,
man.
A lot of that stuff is real life things that I really went through, things that I've experienced, and I always just try to bring a lot of realism into everything that I do, especially when I talk. And honestly, like I keep a lot of things still locked away inside that I don't let out.
Right.
And I use those opportunities to let that out, just so that it doesn't eat me up. You know what I mean? So I take advantage of those things, and
Yeah.
I think that was a beautiful answer and very true. But really, it's Eddie Kingston. That's where he gets his promo from. I got you, Eddie. I got you, Eddie.
What a ball
I got
buster.
you, Eddie.
What
Eddie
a
Kingston.
ball buster.
How much did he pay you to say that?
He did pay. He paid him a lot. I could believe it because he'll brag all day. Yo, I get a paycheck now, baby. I could afford shit now.
10%.
I could afford shit now.
7:30. Yonkers.
Got you. What up? Call your mother. Question from Baron Von Philith. I feel like I know the answer to this question. If you could win a title in any city or any particular arena, where would it be?
Ooh. In New York.
New York. Okay.
Madison Square Garden.
Right.
I mean, AEW Tag Team Champions.
Wow.
60-minute Iron Man match.
That was a great question.
Right?
Actually.
There it is.
That
I'm
was
booking
awesome.
it.
You booked it? You're
Yeah, I
booking the
booked
show
it.
now.
Yeah, a whole last hour of Dynamite, 60 minutes. MSG for the titles.
Oh, that'd be
There
great.
you go, buddy. Gavin Upright Cartwright. Thanks, Baron Von Philip, for that softball. Gavin Upright Cartwright. If you had to
names-
splinter away from the inner circle and then start your own faction, who would you bring in? And why would it not be Eddie Kingston?
Because he didn't pay him enough. Didn't pay him enough.
I deal with him enough. So I have to deal with him in a fashion.
We all do.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right.
Oh man, that's a tough one.
For me, just because we were a part of an indie promotion called Beyond Wrestling, and we were part of a stable there that we really cut our teeth on the indies called Team Pazuzu. Pazuzu being the demon from The Exorcist. And yeah, we're fans of horror movies and stuff like that. So we decided to go with Pazuzu. Well, they already had the name, and they welcomed us in. And really, their goal as a unit, they always said, like all of them combined, where they saw something in us to get us into places and really get us to cut our teeth. So I would say Chris Dickinson, Jaka, and Pinky Sanchez, even though that would be insane. But
so every time
I love you, Carlos.
So every time you've heard us mention Carlos and getting great deals from Carlos, that's a shout out to our boy Pinky Sanchez that we always.
Anyone follow the inner circle that we have Loquito from 125th? His name is Carlos. That was him. He's Carlos from 125th. Yeah. He's I love him. He's a great person.
He's a special soul.
He helped us very early on in our career, but I would bring them in Team Pazuzu all day. That's what I would bring in if I could bring in a faction, if I had it my way.
Question from Tony, not that one or the other one, but Tony on Twitter. In your social handles, one of you has proud and the other one has powerful. And is there a reason that one went with one and one went with the other?
He's more proud and I'm more powerful.
Oh, that works. There you go. Another softball question.
Well,
Here we go.
that was a great question.
Tommy Tongues. had to work hard for that handle, buddy.
Hey, buddy.
Okay.
Buy me a drink first next time.
Do you have post-match rituals?
Post-match rituals.
You used to.
I used to, yeah. So when we were at Impact or on the Indies and stuff, I had this deal where after every single match, I needed to have 2 cold-ass beers. Not one, but 2.
What kind of beer? Are we talking like
Any
a PBR? Are we talking like an IPA?
Whatever was available.
Whatever's clever.
They
I'm
would
not
just have
a
to be
picky
cold.
person. Yeah,
Okay.
they just had to be cold and fill me up. So, yeah, that was my ritual then. But I don't drink as much anymore. And
we don't really have too many pre-match rituals. We pre-match rituals we do, but not post-match.
Yeah.
What kind of pre-match stuff do you have?
Pre-match, we kind of get in the zone. We'll talk
hype
to
each other
We'll
up,
hype
yeah.
each other up. We'll get each other into the zone, and we'll look at each other and be like, because
sorry to cut you off,
No, go
but
ahead.
pretty much a reminder as to why we fucking do this.
Right.
Yeah.
And like why we're here.
Kind of like a slap to the face, but we're not really slapping each other. But
I've slapped them a few
Right,
times.
I've seen it. I've seen it.
It hurts. But we'll look at each other and I scream the best as a tagline, but we really mean it. And we've said it in promos, but I really mean this. It's like we don't say things just to say them. Like we really want to be the best tag team. We really when it's all said and done, our biggest goals in our career is to 20 years from now have people go back and watch our matches for inspiration. Like go back and be like we left enough of a significant impact in tag team wrestling that people want to go back and study us. Like we go back and watch Rock and Roll Express or the Midnight Express or the Killer Bees, and we go back and watch Arn and Tully or Arn and his brother. Like going back and watching those matches for inspiration. We want the next generation to do
just
that
leave
with
something
us.
behind.
Yeah.
Leave something behind.
And that's it.
Yeah,
that's good
Make
stuff.
what you have meaningful.
Yeah.
exactly.
And hopefully be like Robert and Ricky and wrestling in our 60s.
You could wrestle in the 60s.
They're in their
Just
70s.
doing Canadian. You mean just doing Canadian destroyers
Yeah,
over
hell
people
yeah.
at Indies?
Hey, man.
Hey, you know
Hey,
what?
man.
So my goal in wrestling is to go, so I want to fast forward 20 years from now so we
Okay.
could do the You Still Got It tour. So all I gotta do is throw a couple of arm drags, hit a drop kick. You still got it. That's it. All the work is done.
Oh, man.
Then you sell like Steamboat around the ring a little bit, and you get your ass kicked. Boom, he runs the comeback because he's definitely Robert all day. And
Good luck getting me out the house at 60 years old, right? I barely like to get out the house now.
Yeah,
so.
he ain't doing that. I think you got a problem.
it'll be a
Yeah.
good payday, brother. I got you.
All right.
Question from J-Mac on Twitter. How much of an influence did Conan have on both of you throughout your wrestling career?
Whew, huge. A lot. He taught us how to be TV wrestlers, really, because we were independent wrestlers when we first came into Impact, and he really taught us a lot about like how to do business backstage, ways to improve our character. Because as LAX, I mean, I can channel that angry side, that serious side of me, but like I said, I came off the independence being like a clown character and really just being myself and just like letting loose and being very flamboyant. So I kind of had to do a switch and be more of like the angry teenage me, but find a way to make it. And he was obviously more comfortable in that role because he was already the straight-laced guy. So for me, it was a learning curve to kind of go into a more serious route, which I'm still struggling with now today, and I'm still trying to work on that. But yeah, he was a huge influence. Still continues to be an influence. We still talk to him. Obviously, he's been with us on TV recently. But even before that, we were in contact with him. We'll hit him up, and he'll yell at me about to get pictures for my son. And yeah, he's very much a part of our lives, and still continues to be an influence. And we'll still ask him for advice. We'll be like, hey, did you watch our match? Can you go back and like you know, let us know this and that. And obviously, he's one of the true greats on the mic. Like he's impeccable on the mic.
Yes, he is.
His promo with
He's the one who got us TV ready.
Yeah,
pretty much.
he really did.
He was the guy.
Yeah.
Yep.
What a megastar. People don't realize.
Yep.
Just a megastar. Rick Giles, very deep question here. Coming from the hood myself, he says, I wanted to know how y'all stayed away from the guns and drugs because in that environment, we typically get pulled in that direction.
Backyard wrestling.
Yeah. For me, you know, I got caught up as a kid, as a teenager. You know, I had a very volatile and crazy home life, so I did anything not to be home. And you know that I got involved in gangs and in the street and stuff like that, and experienced a lot of things and did a lot of stupid shit that I still regret to this day, but it is what it is. You know,
Right.
it made me who I am. I learned from it, and I grew as a person. But honestly, it was a particular moment for me that really made me just turn everything around, where, you know, I was involved in a gang, and at the time, you know, a situation happened that had to be handled, and they sent me to go handle it, and I was maybe 15 years old.
Damn.
And I found myself on a street corner holding a gun, ready to, you know, shoot up a block. You know, that was real talk. And I was with two other gang members, and right when we were about to pull up to the block and handle business, I turned around and those two guys were gone, and I was in a rival gang's neighborhood by myself.
Oh, no.
And at that moment, I was just like, this is it. I need to go, you know.
Yeah.
And that moment changed my life.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yep. And then we met through backyard wrestling.
Yeah.
We started backyard wrestling, and then went the completely opposite way. We got obsessed with wrestling, He found a wrestling school. I found a wrestling school. And it completely kept me out of it. He had his experience, but really, of course, I was around it, growing up. But I stood away from it because all I wanted to do was watch wrestling and go wrestle with my friends every Saturday. We would wrestle rain, sleet, or snow, and we would go and we aired our stuff on Manhattan Public Access Television, and that was our thing. That's that was our outlet.
Sure.
Everything else didn't matter. We didn't care about whatever, and that's why we would go even if it was snowing, even if it was raining. We went to the park every Saturday and we wrestled, and we had a great time. Just with our friends.
Shout out 2KW, yo.
Yeah.
Okay, last question. Really deep question, very important. This is for Ortiz. Kamasori Hanzo asks, how do you feel about the Varsity Bonds claiming to have the best hair in professional wrestling?
We got beef.
I didn't know they were claiming that.
Oh, yeah. Griffin Pillman?
They say they have the best hair.
Yeah. Well, I can.
What about Jungle Boy?
Yeah, I can answer.
I mean,
that.
Jungle Boy actually does have the best hair.
I can answer
like,
for 'em. Yeah, they ain't fucking.
There you go.
That's the best hair.
There you
wrestling.
go.
Okay, for you '70s Yankees fans, when I saw that hair, I went, Oscar Gamble. And not everybody got that, but '70s Yankees fans would. Oh gosh, thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.
This has
Tony.
been great.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure sitting with you guys and just
finally.
yeah, right.
Like literally every 3 months, Santana texts me and goes, so why am I not on your podcast yet?
Yeah,
And I come
was
up
like,
with some
yo.
excuse, and I normally blame Shivani.
Yeah.
But eventually it finally happened. I told you.
I was starting to take it personal.
It's okay. We got heat. Clearly,
Tony.
we have heat.
Yeah.
Tony, thank you for being one of the voices of our generation. and
yes.
you know
I'm
what I mean?
excited that you guys who are so talented are now seen by millions of people.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm really excited about that.
People are buying your fucking action figures in stores.
That's insane.
It's wild.
Insane. It's the wildest thing ever.
Yeah.
Like, every time someone tags me and be like, hey, I just got your action figure, I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
insane.
I know.
Yeah.
It's definitely a
Yeah.
cool feeling, man.
Thanks a lot, man.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, guys.
Okay, so you can follow them on Instagram at Santana_proud and Ortiz_powerful. And you can listen to follow this podcast, AEW Unrestricted. And if you watch the video version, you can see all of Aubrey's silly hand gestures because they sometimes really suck. So, okay. No, you can listen free. Follow this podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Leave us a rating.
Please.
And review.
Review.
Please. Okay. And if you're a troll,
Fuck off.
go fuck yourself. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay.
All right, Mondays, you can watch AEW Dark Elevation on YouTube.
Yes.
On Tuesdays, you can watch AEW Dark on YouTube. Wednesdays, you can watch Dynamite, 8 o'clock, 7 Central on TNT. And now you can watch Rampage on Fridays.
That's right.
10 o'clock TNT. We're on 4 days a week, motherfuckers.
Pretty soon it'll be 7 days a week.
Oh, God, really?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay.
So tired.
Let's do it.
Thanks a lot for being with us. Tony Schiavone for Santana Ortiz. And this is...
Aubrey Edwards. Bye, guys.
Ow!